Well, if I'm being honest, Atlanta last year was basically the worst. I don't recall how we qualified, but that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But I do remember coming down the hill, leading our top 32 battle, chucked that thing in. It was a heater. We had lots of side bite to help us. Got back up on the throttle, slingshot up the hill, hit the handbrake to check up, downshift, drop the clutch off the limiter, and pow, it breaks an axle. So when you're one-wheel drive, like, you're not drifting anymore. You need both tires to have power no matter what. So instantly straightened me out, and then I knew immediately what happened. And so we're scrambling, sitting on a massive deficit, and we ended up missing our next run, which is a total bummer. So for whatever reason, I did well in that track at Pro 2, but whenever we stepped up into Pro 1, it's just kind of not really been cooperating with me, and I absolutely love that track. So just ready to get some redemption this year. I just want to be able to throw down and run some tandem with the boys, and there's not really that many walls to worry about. To me, it's a proper road course. You're going rumble strip to rumble strip, which is always really good fun for me, and it always seems to flow well. But yeah, so redemption is in the cards this year. I can feel it. So yeah, same 2JZ that we've been running, but we did actually go with a slightly smaller turbocharger. This one is called the G40 1150. And the reason for doing that, we went from the G42 1200C compact. We went down one turbo size because the efficiency of the turbo is getting better and better every year. So the compressor map, you can still flow almost the same amount of air with a turbo that's slightly smaller. So the reasoning for doing that is I really wanted to be able to basically make that 2JZ make peak torque as soon as possible. And that really just basically is trying to take the lag away. So that thing really didn't see boost pressure, maximum boost pressure, until about over 5,000 RPM. So it redlines to 8,500. So 5,000 to 8,500's a respectable window of power. So once we started spraying it with nitrous from 3,000, now you have usable power from 3,000 to 8,500. And I still think that that compressor map could have used a little bit of work. So that's honestly why I chose to try the G40 1150. I just want to give it a try and see if we can still make that top end power that we need with having better peak torque down lower on the revs to try and get it a little bit easier to drive, because once that turbo hits the big turbo, the 42 1200, it runs into the rev limiter so hard that you can just feel like the engine wants to keep going. So my hope is that we can kind of get this thing to roll over and start making a little bit less power so it doesn't run into the rev limiter as hard. Save the valves in it, better for the valve train, better for the rod bearings, all that kind of stuff. So a couple different theories there. Two opposite ends of the spectrum there. The biggest rush, I mean, on a competition weekend is just, I think it's the weekend as a whole. You show up to these events and, you know, then all of a sudden you usually do your practice on Thursday and there's not really that many people there. And then they open it to the spectators on Friday and we start to qualify, and then the hype builds. The atmosphere gets a little bit better and a little bit higher. And everybody kind of turns their game face on, and then comp day comes around on Saturday and the place is packed. Like, everybody's on kill mode, everybody's had practice laps underneath their belt, so everybody's looking good, everybody's driving good. And there's just no other feeling like lining up on the line, and it's not like there's 40 of us out there at once. It's me versus you, 1 versus 1, me and you right now, let's go. So I think I like the extreme nature of the competition, and when it goes well, there is absolutely no better feeling in the entire world. So I will say, on the other note, is the bummer of the whole thing is probably mechanical failures. Like, the amount of abuse that these vehicles see throughout a race weekend is truly staggering, and the fact that they can run at all at the end of the year is pretty crazy. But just like what we had in Atlanta, we've been running similar axles to this. We rebuild them every year. We do our maintenance. We do what we're supposed to do. But sometimes things just let go. And there's no real rhyme or reason for it. And it always seems to happen at a bad time. So like I said, just the mechanicals and the uncertainty. You could be feeling like whenever you're feeling the best and killing it the most and having your best laps and having the sickest day is always when a mechanical strikes. So it's very frustrating in that sense, but literally everybody deals with it. There's no team out there that doesn't have to deal with something breaking at some point throughout the weekend. This isn't a 6 or 8 second drag pass. This is wide open, bashing off the rev limiter, clutch in, clutch out, 125 mile an hour wheel speed to 0, then sidestep a 950 wheel horsepower, drop in the clutch with 125 mile an hour wheel speed. So that tire's going from 125 to 0 back to 125 in fractions of a second. So just the amount of shock that goes through that drivetrain, whether it be on the crankshaft, the clutch, the transmission, the drive shaft, your differential, your ring and pinion, your axles, your wheel bearings, like, name it. Everything is just being shocked. So, but that's the nature of the sport. That's what we deal with. So, that's probably the downside, but I don't know. It's manageable, I guess. Dude, the shop right now is, is the gnarliest thing I've ever been a part of. So we have our shop in Costa Mesa, California, and such an awesome place to hang out and so many cool toys and projects around. But at the end of the day, they all require a lot of work. We have competition E46, practice car E36 with a turbo and a quick change dog box. We have a turbo diesel 4-seater ride-along drift car that we have out there that we build and maintain. We have a turbo modified UTV that we build and maintain. We have a 200 mile an hour Bonneville land speed record bike that we build and maintain. We have my Ford Ranger we did on the build this year. We have a Mercedes-Benz E300 TD that we build and maintain. And I mean, just the amount of projects that we have in here is staggering. And it feels like every single vehicle almost needs like a full-time person on it, which is not how we have it set up. So you're kind of just managing all these projects at once. And let me tell you, there's a lot of moving pieces, but at the end of the day, I'm so unbelievably stoked, and this is what I want with my life, to be completely honest. Just to be able to have these toys and to be able to do what we do is just the coolest thing ever. So yes, there's a lot going on, but like, it's the sickest.